The Expressive Machinery Lab is exploring how we can use our understanding of human creativity to build AI that can collaborate with us and create things with us. This demo presentation explores how we can visualize improvisation strategies in the context of a project called Lumini, which is focused on co-creative dance improvisation. Lumini is a collaborative, interactive installation in which a human participant can creatively improvise movement together with an AI dance partner. The human's virtual shadow is projected onto a screen next to an AI avatar, and in the liminal space of the screen, the two can dance together. This demo explores a suite of tools that enable Lumini to reason using 3 different types of knowledge: learned knowledge, tacit domain knowledge, and procedural knowledge of improvisation strategies. We use an interactive visualization tool called MoViz to explore the agent's learned gesture memory. We use an unsupervised machine learning pipeline to group gestures based on visual similarity. MoViz displays these gestures in an interactive 3D space. For each gesture, we render a colored sphere and color-encoded cluster assignment. The user can move the camera around to look at the clusterings from different perspectives and angles, and if they move close to a point, the point will transform from a circle to a small animated avatar. The user can then click these points to display them in a viewer placed at the top and bottom right-hand sides of the screen for closer comparison, or they can add them into a queue to view later in what we refer to as the grid view. This tool can be used to learn about and explore Lumini's learned knowledge, but it can also be used to compare and refine unsupervised learning algorithms. For example, the 2 videos shown here are the same dataset clustered using different algorithms. MoViz has helped us to understand a number of characteristics of the otherwise black box, unsupervised learning approaches we have been using. For example, using MoViz, we were able to identify an algorithm pipeline that grouped gestures that are rhythmically similar together. So as you can see here, these 2 gestures that are playing on the screen look different in terms of their visual appearance, but rhythmically they're similar to each other. And this was a strength of this particular clustering algorithm that the other algorithms missed. In addition to learned knowledge, Lumini uses tacit domain knowledge to reason about gestures. The system uses heuristics drawn from viewpoints movement theory that comes out of theater and dance to understand movement qualities. These include energy, tempo, and size. Lumini is also able to reason about gestures using certain components of another movement theory called Laban movement analysis. Rudolf Laban derived this framework for in-depth analysis of movement, which he says has 4 paradigms. The first is body, which refers to the agent that carries the movement out. Space refers to the surrounding environment and the body's interaction with it. Effort represents the intrinsic quality of a movement, such as whether the movement is sudden or sustained, light or heavy. Finally, shape refers to the resulting form that the movement takes as a result of the interaction of body in space while embodying efforts. We have developed a tool for reasoning about the space component of the Laban movement analysis framework within Lumini. The basis of this tool is a geometric shape with 12 sides, the icosahedron, which Laban argues is particularly well suited for exploring movements with the human body. The geometric components of the icosahedron, the vertices, the edges, and the planes, serve as control points for analyzing and manipulating gestures in Lumini. We also apply the concept of Laban's cross to divide the icosahedron in various zones and sections according to the 3-dimensional planes. These dimensional planes correspond to the XY, YZ, and XZ planes and divide the icosahedron into various zones and sections. These planes include the door plane, the wheel plane, and the table plane. Apart from this structural framework, we also introduce different encoding schemes for translating gestures to icosahedron components and back. Thick encoding is used when we reason about a gesture in terms of which general section or zone that it lies in. For instance, in the current view, the character's head is in the high zone, according to the table plane. In terms of the other two planes, it's in the middle. Hence, the positioning of the head can be encoded as HMM, or high, medium, medium. Thin encoding translates the movement in terms of the exact control points of the icosahedron. This allows for a more granular and precise control. To classify the mapping of a gesture in terms of the control points, we use approximations for vertices, edges, as well as planes. Thick and thin encodings can be used to transform gesture components or to generate novel gestures by manipulating the different encodings so that the gesture components are moved to different spaces of the icosahedron. We've built a tool to visualize the thick and thin encodings for any gesture. You can also use this tool to transform existing gestures by manipulating the thick and thin encodings for a particular gesture component. Finally, LuminAI uses procedural knowledge of improvisation strategies in order to decide how to respond to a gesture. The agent uses several different strategies to respond to a participant's movement. These include mimicry of the movement, which you'll see in the upper left-hand corner, transformation of the movement, recalling a similar or complementary movement from memory in terms of viewpoints or Laban qualities, and applying action and response patterns that the agent has learned by dancing with its human partner. We have also developed a set of tools for customizing the agent's improvisation strategies depending on the situation. For instance, the user can specify that the agent should respond with 3 gestures in sequence, using different strategies for each gesture. The result is a playful, co-creative experience in which humans and AI agents can dance together, either in the wild or in a performance setting. These social, collaborative interactions between humans and machines can help us to more generally understand how we can improvise with computers in creative domains as we interact with them in the arts, at home, and in the workplace. We hope that the tools we have presented here, the core LuminAI system, the MOVIS tool for exploring learned knowledge, and the tool for movement analysis and generation using the Laban movement analysis icosahedron framework can be helpful to the broader movement and computing community. We have not yet publicly released these tools, but we plan to in the near future. So if anybody has questions or is interested in trying out the tools or exploring them further, please drop us a line. Thank you so much for your time.